Now, I want to turn a little bit to U.S. policy. You've been very outspoken from the beginning, to be fair, that the West needs to do a lot more in terms of the sanctions against Russia, in terms of the military support that they're providing Ukraine. But we've now seen over the course of almost 3 months that the trajectory of the West has been in that direction that you have been arguing for. Is the West, broadly speaking, now where you think they should be in terms of Russia and Ukraine policy?
On bolstering NATO, I think yes. I'm very impressed with what they've done there. On weapons, almost yes. And you're right, their policy changed. I think publics were ahead of the governments, by the way, on not only in the United States, but talking to colleagues of mine throughout Europe. I think that was true there. I think they've moved pretty far on arms, not quite as far as I would have liked, not as fast, but they've moved pretty far. I think on sanctions, they're behind still. I think there's a lot more that could be done and should be done. But I applaud, as I say when I talk to my government friends here in the United States, you got to keep ratcheting up. And particularly on sanctions, I think conceptually there's some changes that need to be done. Number one, I think about it like parking tickets, Ian. Like if you park in the wrong place here at Stanford, you get a parking ticket for the day you parked your car in the wrong place. But if you leave it there, you get another parking ticket the next day, and you pile them up. I think I got
and then they boot your car. Then you can't drive anymore, man.
I think I got up to 4 or 5 one time when I forgot where I'd parked. And I think that ratcheting is a conceptual change that needs to take place with sanctions, right? As long as Putin's army is parked, to stretch the metaphor, in Ukraine, there's got to be a ratcheting. I also think conceptually on individual sanctions, they need to rethink some things. Sanction the position, not the individual. So sanction everybody who's a deputy minister and above in the government. Sanction everybody who's on the board of Rosneft. The idea there is 2 things. One, then you give some agency to those people, because right now, once you're on the list, you're stuck and you're going to be there forever. There's no way to get off the list. But then 2, you can sanction not just several hundred people, but thousands of people. So those are just 2 examples of where things can change. And of course, as you know better than I, there are, I think, some creative ideas about energy sanctions. I applaud what is being discussed, and I think there's a lot more that can be done there as well.
I mean, if the West had the capacity to literally destroy the Russian economy, should that be the intention?
Well, I strongly believe that the intention, the objective of sanctions is to end the war in Ukraine. Not everybody agrees with that. Some think the intention should be to destroy Russia, to foment revolution. I disagree with that. I think the sanctions should be tied to a very concrete foreign policy objective, which is to end the war in Ukraine. Now, sanctions are sticky, as you know, as well as I do. It's easy to say that, it's hard to lift them. But I think conceptually, that's what one should do.
There's, of course, been a really big flurry of stories around this New York Times piece that said that the United States was providing intelligence that helped the Ukrainians target Russian generals and also target the Moskva, the flagship of the Black Sea Fleet. Walked back by the Pentagon itself. But in your view, should the United States be in the business of doing that?
First of all, I don't know that it's true. Ukrainian government officials I talk to say it's not true. So they're contending the very validity of these leaks. Number 2, I believe that we should share intelligence with the Ukrainians. I'm not against that as a policy matter, but I'm militantly against talking about it. I think it's just stupid. Ian, I used to read secret materials every day for 5 years in the Obama administration. I'm sure it would have been fun for us to meet and have a drink and talk about that. But that's not, I think it's illegal. 2, it doesn't serve our national security interests, because think about what's happened here as a result of that. 1, it feeds Putin's narrative that he's fighting NATO and the United States and Ukraine, not the Ukrainians. That's exactly what he wants his people to believe, so we're helping him with that. Number 2, think how it feels for the Ukrainians. It makes them look weak, like they can't do this on their own. That's not their view, and that didn't serve anybody's. I don't think that serves our security objectives in terms of our partnership with the Ukrainians.